Max the mouse twitched his whiskers. He was a clever mouse. Max lived in a cozy hole under the floorboards of the village bakery. He loved the smell of fresh bread. But today, Max had a mystery on his mind. It was about the old mill on the hill. The mill was empty now. Nobody went there. It was spooky. Yet, Max had seen lights flickering inside at night. What was going on? Max was determined to find out. He decided to investigate that very night. Max packed a small bag. He took a crumb of cheese and a piece of string. "This will come in handy," he squeaked to himself. The sun set. The sky turned a deep purple. It was time for Max to go. The old mill was even spookier up close. Max shivered. He crept inside through a crack in the wall. The air was cold and damp. Cobwebs hung everywhere. Max's heart beat faster. What was that noise? He heard a soft humming sound. He followed the sound. It led him to a secret room. In the middle of the room was a giant wheel of cheese. It shimmered with a golden light. "This must be the legendary golden wheel of cheese," Max gasped. He had heard stories about this cheese. Legends said it was magical. But the legends also said it would disappear forever on the night of the full moon. Max knew he couldn't move the golden wheel of cheese alone. He needed help. He scurried back to the village. Max went to find his friends. First, he found Rosie the rat. Rosie was strong and fearless. She knew all the secret tunnels under the village. Next, he found Percy the pigeon. Percy was a bit clumsy, but he could fly. Percy could carry messages. Finally, Max found Cecil the spider. Cecil was very quiet and patient. He could spin silk threads stronger than any rope. Together, Max, Rosie, Percy, and Cecil made a plan. They would work together. They would get the golden wheel of cheese before the full moon. But there was a problem. A big, fluffy problem. His name was Whiskers. Whiskers was the village cat. He was large and lazy, but he was also very good at his job. Whiskers loved cheese more than anything. He patrolled the village every night. He would surely be sniffing around the old mill. Max knew they had to be careful. They had to outsmart Whiskers. Max and his friends watched Whiskers. They learned his routine. They waited for the perfect moment to put their plan into action. The night of the full moon arrived. The moon hung in the sky like a giant silver coin. Max and his team gathered at the old mill. They only had a few hours left. They worked quickly and quietly. Rosie led the way through the secret tunnels. Percy flew ahead. He made sure the coast was clear. Cecil spun a silken harness for the golden wheel of cheese. They were ready to move. Max and his friends pushed and pulled the golden wheel of cheese. It was slow going. The wheel was heavy. Suddenly they heard a loud purr. Whiskers! He was blocking their exit. "This is my cheese now," Whiskers yowled. Max knew they had to act fast. "Percy, create a distraction!" he yelled. Percy swooped down and flapped his wings in Whiskers' face. Whiskers hissed and swatted at Percy. Max, Rosie, and Cecil used the opportunity to roll the golden wheel of cheese out of a side door. Whiskers chased after them. He was gaining on them. Max's heart pounded. They reached the edge of the forest. They were almost home free. But then, Whiskers did something unexpected. He stopped chasing them. He sat down and began to cry. "Meow," he whimpered. Max and his friends were shocked. Why was Whiskers crying? They crept closer. Whiskers looked up at them with sad eyes. "I didn't want the cheese for myself," he confessed. "I needed it to buy back my kittens." Whiskers explained that his kittens had been taken by a grumpy badger. The badger wanted the golden wheel of cheese as a ransom. Max felt sorry for Whiskers. He realized that Whiskers wasn't so bad after all. Max and his friends decided to help Whiskers. They all went together to the badger's den. They offered him a trade. They would give him the golden wheel of cheese. In return, the badger had to return Whiskers' kittens. The badger agreed. He loved cheese more than anything. He happily gobbled down a large chunk. Whiskers was reunited with his kittens. He was overjoyed. Max and his friends were happy to help. Max learned that some treasures are more valuable than cheese. He learned that friendship and kindness are the greatest treasures of all. And so Max returned home a hero, not because he had stolen the golden wheel of cheese, but because he had helped those in need.